Yo, it's 11 comments, boy. Just wanted to do a quick field review. Uh, I'm in the Los Angeles area, so I went to a place called Warped Paintball in Castaic. You can just like Google Warped Paintball Field. Uh, I just wanted to just say a couple things about it. I went with a couple friends of mine, and just one thing that I just want to say real quick is if you're a ghillie suiter, you wear a ghillie suit like myself, they don't have the bouncing rule, which is because you have so many layers on your ghillie suit with all the threads and stuff. Most fields have a rule where even if you get hit with a ball and it bounces off, it doesn't break, you're still out. They don't have that rule. I found that was really nice because a lot of times I could, like at the very beginning when everyone's just popping off like an angle, you know, I found that I could get hit anywhere, excluding my mask, because obviously your mask is, pretty hard. It would, I was just getting hit. I got hit twice on the break of the match on a woods ball field. It wasn't speedball. On a woods ball field, I got hit twice, and I actually caught the ball because it hit me. It got sort of embedded. I caught it, cleaned it off, and actually put it in my hopper. Um, so they don't have that rule. I just want to say that real quick. Um, they have, I think, six fields. They have a spool field, which is it's basically just these circular things that are about you can pretty much you can I think you could fit three people on them. Not that you would want to because it's a bad idea, but they're it's like what you wrap hay around. I don't know if anyone farm boy, but you wrap hay around it. There's spools, hay spools, and I'd say there's probably around 50 to 60 of them on the field. It's on a kind of an angle, it's on a hill, right? So some guys get the upwards, just uphill, downhill. It's a pretty good sized hill too, 50, 60, and they're pretty evenly spaced. Mostly, I guess, 7 to 10 feet in between each thing. The grass is up to your shin, so probably around 15 centimeters, which is not awesome grass. It's not super high grass, but it's enough that if you're, I'm kind of a little guy. I'm like 5'7", 5'7", 5'8". If you're wearing a ghillie suit, you can crawl between the spools, which I found was really awesome because I had one situation where instead, I find that my issue with paintball is that when I'm behind an object, like a spool, I'm behind an object and I'm poking out to shoot and I'm going, I'm popping guys off with. I'm using the Project Salvo right now. I just reviewed that. Check it out. Uh, when I when I'm popping guys off behind barrier, very rarely do I get hit. But when I'm trying to move to a better position, right? That's when I'll get hit. Because I'm not the fastest runner because I kind of have a little bit of a limp. I hurt my knee pretty bad a while ago. So I have kind of a limp a little bit, and it's hard for me to really like go from just standing with the gun, popping guys off, to suddenly just boom, 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 sprinting to another cover. I find it kind of hard for me sometimes. So I find it's really nice when you can crawl, right? So I'm crawling, like, I found it when I'm crawling between these barriers, and I saw this guy looks at me, he puts his marker on me, aims right at me, and I just stop, right? I'm crawling, and I just stop, right? He looks at me, and I have a pretty good ghillie suit, but, like, because of the length of grass, and I'm kind of a smaller guy, the guy didn't see me, right? So he's looking right at me, doesn't see me, looks away, and I hit him a couple times, right? So that spool is really good for guys with ghillie suits. Um, there's another one. There's spool. They have two speedball fields, which I don't really like. I don't really I have a speedball gun, but it's like a spider or whatever, a speedball gun. It's total shit. I don't like it. So I don't really, I enjoy the realistic stuff. I like scenario stuff, or I like um, woods ball. I, I don't really like Speedball. I mean, I'll do a review sooner or later about the speedball fields, but if I'm gonna be playing speedball, I mean, I'll just borrow like the Titman 98 rentals that they have because I don't like to use my Project Salvo for speedball. It's just not, the firing rate isn't fast enough. I mean, the Titman's really no better. It's just that Titman's a little smaller than the Project Salvo, so it's a little easier to just sort of, kind of, well, if you play speedball, you know what I'm talking about. Getting in bunkers, it's important to have a compact sort of gun. Um, so, anyways, about warped. Two speedball fields. They're all right. A graveyard field, which is it's a pretty big field, in its own, and it was called graveyard. It's got little like, triangular barriers. It's got two cars, I think, two trenches that there's like a trench here, that run alongside of each other. I don't really like that because it doesn't really make much sense to have like one trench right behind and in front of each other. It doesn't really, but whatever. It's cool too because it's not on one plane. Like here's where you start. You start on here and then there's like a sort of a ditch situation right around here, right? Ditch, and then it goes up at sort of like an angle, which I think is cool. So you can be behind a bunker, pretty safe, right? And then you'll look over to your right, and there'll be like a guy who thinks he's safe behind a bunker as well, and he's on a completely different playing field, basically, because that's what it is. It's a completely different playing field up there. It's the same situation with the triangle of bunkers and and a couple trenches, but it's like there'll be a completely different battle going on in two separate areas, right? And you can get nailed from guys on both of those areas. So I think that graveyard is pretty cool. They have a defend the castle situation, which is just here's what it sounds like. There's a big building basically. It's just sort of like I don't know how you call that. It's just castle, couple windows in it, and then trenches, little like foxholes sort of situations, little places that have been dug in, couple barriers. I think that map it's fun ish, but it's not fun to be on offense because literally I had a private field rental on there not too long ago, and I had like 10 of my friends, just 10 there was 11 guys, and 10 guys went up the field, and I single-handedly defended the castle with ease. And the first time they tried it like strategically, moving up, trying to flank me, trying to get me to look this way while they have another smaller squad going up this way. I took them out then because it was just there's enough windows where you can put your gun in a window, right, in a centralized window, be popping guys on the left side, crane your head back a little bit, see through this window that there's guys moving up on your right, and rotate your gun from that central window and take them out. And then they also tried once just rushing me, right? But the thing is that there's a little trench behind the actual castle, right? So if you can imagine, here's a castle, right? Here's where they're coming from, and then over here, right on here, there's like a little dig-in area, right? That I don't know who dug that in, but I don't think it was management. But there's a little dug-in area, so I saw that they were just completely rushing me. Sat down in that area, they got up there, and they were like, "What the hell? Where'd he go?" And I just popped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. You know. But so I guess it'd be fun if you had like a scenario thing where it was like 40 guys, you know, against like a sniper squad of two, like Black Hawk Down, that sort of situation where the helicopter's down. In this case, they've got a generalized location that you have to defend. Only a couple guys against a whole shitload, you know. But it's all right. And they have two brush fields. They say they have two, but they only really have one. Because they have one they converted one into an airsoft field. So it's called Vietnam. It's called Nam or Vietnam. Uh, honestly, I'm a ghillie suit. I'm a sniper. I'm a ghillie suiter. I wear my ghillie suit. Honestly, that it sucked. It was terrible. There was no there's like I went in with a team, right? Like a 6 guy team, including me, right? Um, and we had a plan worked out, and it went to shit. And we weren't even playing anybody good. It just went to shit because it's so you cannot tell where anybody is. I ended up shooting like 3 of my own players. I got shot four times by my own players because they don't like. There's no. It's so hard to see anything in there. Like, and I'll make myself known by shooting, right? And then my own players will take me out because you know it's so hard to tell where anybody is in there. They also have one called Town. It's just so what it sounds like, sort of like a Baghdad situation. I think they have like 15 or 16 buildings. On the website, if you go there, it'll say they have 30 buildings. They just did some renos, and I guess they didn't update the video. But yeah, there's 15, 16 buildings, 2 or 3 cars. I think it's three. It's really in close. Like it's not like 16 buildings and they're like spread out. It's like 16 buildings spread into um, like 5 feet away from each other at the most, in like a circular area around these 3 cars and a couple centrally located buildings. It's great for like search and destroy sort of thing, not like or like capture the objective, get the briefcase scenario game. It's great for that. It's really awesome. I have to say, like even for somebody who likes like I like to stick back and take guys out, it's even good for that because you can, urban sniping sort of situation where you can just sort of find a buddy, find a building, have the buddy cover the door to the building, and you look out the window and you can pop guys, moving in and out. It's really fun. Um, I guess I'd give Spool like out of 10. I'd give Spool like a 7. It's not the best field I've ever played on. You know that was in Tawasin, British Columbia. That's the best field I've ever played on. It's because I'm a sniper. It's a good wood. It's like a woods ball field, like Vietnam is, which is very bushy, right? It's very bushy, and that's the issue. And when your clothing just gets snag, I got a tear in my ghillie suit, which is fucking annoying because it took me like 8 hours, 9 hours to like get it basically done, and then to add the to just make the little adjustments was like freaking took so long. So to get it tearing that kind of pisses me off, right? Um, but Tawasin is good because it has it's like a big woods ball field. It's got like open areas sort of situation. Vietnam is like town basically, but everything is a bush. But the buildings are bushes, and it's in an even more compact area, and you can't tell your ass from your elbow. Um, so Spool, I'd give 7 out of 10. Castle, the speedball fields, I'm not gonna rate. I'll do like an actual rating on speedball fields and stuff a little later, maybe. So they're where they are. Um, Castle, Castle's hard because I've never really played on another field like that. On it's a pretty steep incline. It's like pretty hard to go up the hill to just sprint up the hill. I'm in good shape and it's pretty hard. Um, that might be my knee, but I don't know. I guess I'd give it a 5 out of 10. You gotta understand though, like a 5 out of 10, on most things is pretty bad. It's 50%. It's but 5 out of 10 is pretty good. It's fun. I had a good time. Had a good time. Taking out my friends and stuff. But it would be better if there was more players. So maybe don't go on my opinion on that. But 5 out of 10. Graveyard. Graveyard's pretty fun. Graveyard's an 8. I you know The reason it's 8 is because that woods ball